Today, we're heading down to South Florida, virtually at least. We're going to explore Weston.
Right. We've been looking at a bunch of online stuff, travel guides, real estate info, the works.
Yeah, and they all seem to point towards Weston being, well, a pretty desirable place, both to visit and maybe to live.
That's the picture that's emerging,
Yeah.
definitely. It seems to have this blend of uh, quiet, upscale living, but it's also really close to nature of the Everglades and not far from the bigger cities either.
It's an interesting mix. So we looked at travel tips, what agents are saying about housing, just general info too.
Uh-huh.
And the mission today really is to figure out why. Why is Weston sometimes called this hidden gem? We want to unpack the lifestyle, the recreation, the real estate side of things too.
Okay, let's dig in.
Yeah.
First off, location is key, right? To understand Weston, you got to know where it is.
Right. Western Broward County.
Exactly. And it's right up against the Everglades on the west side. And just west of Fort Lauderdale. That position is pretty unique.
Yeah, that edge of the Everglades thing sounds interesting. And it wasn't like an overnight development.
No, not really. The sources say it was mostly developed mid-1990s. Arvida Corporation was behind it.
Mm-hmm.
But it officially became a city back in '84.
Okay.
And there seems to have been this specific vision, trying to balance that urban convenience with keeping things natural.
And did they pull it off? Does it feel like that?
Well, from what we're seeing, yeah, it seems they did. Weston gets talked about a lot for its quality of life. It even got ranked by CNN Money magazine, best places to live in the U.S.
Wow. Okay. That's pretty high praise.
It suggests it's doing something right, for sure. It's not just one thing, it's the whole package.
And safety comes up a lot. Consistently named the safest community in South Florida. That's huge, especially if you have a family.
Absolutely. That's a major selling point.
What makes it so safe, do the sources say? Is it the planning or?
It's likely a mix of things. Master planned communities often, build in security from the start. Plus, it's an affluent area.
Oh, okay.
High median income, highly educated population. Those factors often correlate with lower crime rates. You've got families, retirees, a stable mix, and interestingly, a significant Hispanic and Latino population adding this cultural richness.
Right. Okay, let's talk about houses. The real estate market sounds like it's pretty active.
Oh, yeah. Thriving is the word used. Strong demand. Values are going up. It implies this level of exclusivity.
And the prices reflect that, I guess. We saw numbers from, $3 million up to $13 million, even higher?
Exactly. These are serious price points. And it's driven by, well, partly that quality of life we mentioned, the safety, the amenities, but also the type of properties.
Like what? What are we talking about?
Big waterfront places, sometimes with yacht access, homes in gated communities, mansions, really, often with private pools, fancy kitchens. The whole 9 yards. They're often framed as investments, too, not just homes.
Gotcha. And you mentioned families. The schools must be a big piece of this puzzle. A-plus ratings keep popping up.
Huge piece. Public and private, top rated. They mentioned Cypress Bay High, Falcon Cove Middle specifically. These are really well-regarded schools.
How does that affect things beyond just, the kids' education?
Well, it draws families, obviously. But it also creates this strong community vibe centered around school stuff, sports, events. It makes the neighborhoods feel more connected. And frankly, it keeps property values strong.
Makes sense. Okay, so moving away from houses and schools, what is there to do there? The sources mention a lot of parks, 46 parks, over 100 miles of trails.
Yeah, that's a big emphasis. A lot of green space. It caters to all sorts of people.
Like, give me an example.
Okay, so there's Peace Mountain Park. It's got a lake, trails for exercise, bird watching. But it also has these historical plaques about the Tequesta people, which is, kind of cool. Plus a playground. Free entry. It's a real community asset.
Nice. What about golfers? Any options?
Yep. Bonaventure Country Club comes up. 18 holes, palm trees, water features. Even a waterfall, apparently. Sounds
really?
pretty scenic.
Waterfall on a golf course.
Right. It's part of Bonaventure Resort and Spa, so you can make a day of it, I suppose. Spa, golf.
And for more active stuff, I saw Brian Piccolo Park mentioned that's in Cooper City, nearby.
Yeah, the place sounds like a hub. It's got the usual stuff, skate park, basketball, soccer fields. But it's also apparently a big deal for cricket in South Florida.
Cricket? Really?
Yeah, kind of unexpected. And it has a dedicated cycling track, like a velodrome, which is unique for the area. Shows they cater to a lot of different sports.
Interesting. Okay, what about getting into nature? The Everglades are right there.
Everglades Holiday Park. They call it the gateway to the Everglades. Main thing is the airboat tours, obviously. classic Florida experience.
Right, see some gators.
Exactly. And apparently it's good for fishing, too.
Yeah.
Largemouth bass. So, yeah, your entry point to that whole ecosystem.
And there was another park, Aletta River State Park, near Weston in Miami.
Yeah, that one sounds great, too. Different vibe. Hardwood forests, mangroves, so coastal stuff, too. Mountain biking trails are a big feature there.
Mountain biking. Okay.
Yeah, plus fishing, paddle boarding. You can even camp or rent cabins there. So it's good for, like, a weekend escape. Just remember your Florida fishing license if you plan to fish.
Good tip. And beaches. Can't talk South Florida without beaches. Fort Lauderdale Beach Park.
It's close, yeah. Got all the amenities, courts, showers, rentals, easy access.
But, I sense a but.
Well, it gets crowded. Really crowded sometimes, especially peak season. It's popular with tourists, so if you want quiet, you might need to look elsewhere.
Fair enough. Okay, shifting gears a bit. Arts and culture. Anything happening?
There's some things nearby. Color Me, Mine and Davy, paint your own pottery type place. Good for families or, well, anyone really.
Okay.
And also in Davy, the Young at Art Museum.
Yeah.
That one's focused on kids. Interactive exhibits, getting them into art.
So, good options for families nearby. What about in Weston itself?
The sources mention local stuff too, yeah. Art festivals, concerts, maybe some theater. And then you're not far from Fort Lauderdale, right? So the Broward Center for the Performing Arts is a big draw for larger shows.
Right, so you get a mix. Local things and bigger regional venues.
Exactly. Seems like a good balance.
What about just, daily life stuff? Shopping, eating.
Plenty of options. There's the Yellow Green Farmers Market. Apparently it's the biggest in South Florida. Fresh produce, crafts, food stalls, open weekends.
That's good.
Then for, like, serious shopping, Sawgrass Mills Mall is a short drive. Huge outlet mall.
Oh, right. Massive.
Yeah. And then within Weston itself, there's the Weston Town Center, boutiques, restaurants, cafes, more local convenience stuff.
Okay. And I saw Las Olas Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale mentioned too.
Yeah, that's more upscale. Trendy restaurants, art galleries. Probably not your budget-friendly option, but it's there.
Got it. Any other, unique experiences in the area?
A few popped up. Cycle Party Fort Lauderdale, those group bike things. Sometimes themed tours like food or history.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Museum of Discovery and Science in Fort Lauderdale sounds cool. Has a flight simulator, IMAX, dinosaurs. Flamingo Gardens is nearby too. Tropical gardens, wildlife sanctuary, more nature, but curated. And then there's the Bonnet House Museum and gardens in Fort Lauderdale Beach. Historic estate, tours, looks pretty interesting. Closed Mondays, though.
Good to know.
And right near Bonnet House is Hugh Taylor Birch State Park. More trails, canoeing, kayaking, and it actually has a tunnel under the road to get to the beach.
Oh, clever. So lots of variety nearby then.
Definitely. It seems like living in Weston gives you this quiet base, but with easy access to a ton of different activities and experiences.
And that brings us back to the location, really. The easy access to Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Boca, Palm Beach. That connectivity seems key.
Absolutely crucial. It means you can live in this perhaps calmer, more community-focused place, but you're still plugged into the job markets, the nightlife, the airports, everything the bigger cities offer. Best of both worlds, maybe.
Seems like that's the pitch. Now, speaking of real estate again, one name kept appearing in the luxury end of things, Bernard Poirier.
Yes. Described as a luxury real estate agent, even a maestro of luxury real estate. Pretty strong titles.
Right. The sources really emphasize his focus on the very high end, like $10 million and up, serving discerning clientele.
Yeah, his whole online presence is framed that way. Opulence, privacy, sophistication. It's very targeted.
And they talk about his properties not just as houses, but as legacy investments. That's a specific angle.
It is. It suggests thinking long-term about status, about more than just square footage. And it mentions his skill in the ultra-exclusive market, needing discretion and precision.
And access to off-market listings. That implies deep connections.
Definitely. Plus a global network. South Florida luxury attracts international buyers, so that makes sense. He seems particularly focused on waterfront places, too, especially with yacht access, like in Fort Lauderdale Beach.
Okay, so a real specialist. Does he just sell, or?
No, it sounds like he offers the whole range of services. For buyers, finding the place, financing, closing, inspections, all that. And for sellers, valuing the property, marketing it, negotiations, FIEPTA guidance for international sellers. the full package for that high-end market.
And importantly for our focus, he's specifically linked with Weston's luxury market too, even if it starts a bit lower, like $3 million.
Yes, that's mentioned. He covers that segment in Weston, the, more elegant, higher-priced homes there, but his reach is much wider.
Right, the sources listed a ton of cities: Aventura, Boca, Cooper City, Coral Springs, Dania Beach, Deerfield, Delray, Fort Lauderdale, Hallandale, Hollywood Beach, Miami, Miami Beach, Miami Gardens, Palm Beach, Pembroke Pines, Plantation, Pompano, Southwest Ranches, Sunny Isles, Sunrise, Tamarack, and Weston, obviously. Plus that $10 M plus South Florida category.
Cool, yeah. Covers pretty much all the key luxury spots in South Florida. And even some in Central Florida, apparently Sebastian, Palm Bay, Port St. Lucie, Vero Beach.
Wow, okay, so very broad reach, but with a clear high-end focus. And if someone was interested in reaching out to him?
The sources give his contact info. Phone is 954-394-4232. And email is bernardpoirier@gmail.com.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. What's the main takeaway from this deep dive into Weston?
I think it's that combination we talked about. You've got this really high quality of life, very safe, great schools, which pulls in families.
Right.
Tons of parks and nature access, close to the Everglades, close to beaches. And then there's this thriving upscale real estate market.
Yeah.
It all blends together.
Yeah, the theme seems to be it's maybe a quieter, more refined alternative compared to the hustle of Miami or Fort Lauderdale, but still close enough to tap into all that. Strikes a balance.
Exactly. It offers a specific kind of South Florida lifestyle. Which leads to maybe a final question for you, the listener.
Yeah.
Thinking about this mix, the nature, the community feel, the upscale side of things, is Weston maybe the kind of place where you're not just buying a house, but investing in a whole way of life, something different within the South Florida scene?
Definitely something to think about based on everything we've uncovered today.